Life is a journey in which each person carries with them fragments of memories, stories of love, of encounters and separations. Beautiful memories can bring us happy moments, but it is the pain of separation that makes us mature. Why do we always remember pain more than joy? Because it is in suffering that we realize the value of happiness, understand impermanence, and deeply feel that everything has its time. People often dream of eternal love, but no one escapes the law of impermanence. Everything in life changes, from the little things to relationships that we once thought could not be changed. I have a friend. He and his lover have spent more than 10 years together. They shared the most beautiful moments, and everyone thought they would be together forever. However, when fate ran out, they were forced to accept letting go. That pain not only made them collapse, but also was a turning point that made each person look back at themselves. My friend shared that, in the loss, he learned to love himself more, live without depending on anyone, and build a more meaningful life. Buddha taught that everything has birth, existence, change, and death. Attachment, no matter how deep, only exists within the limits of fate. When fate ends, people need to learn to let go, not cling to escape suffering. We often find it difficult to accept this truth. The ego makes us cling to what has passed. But only when we accept that everything is temporary can we truly find peace of mind. Love or attachment? The line between true love and attachment is very fragile. When we love someone, we often confuse wanting them to be happy with wanting them to bring us happiness. If love is only for self-satisfaction, it will become a chain that holds both of us in a vicious cycle of suffering. A young woman used to be madly in love, but when her lover left, she fell into a state of despair. She refused all new opportunities, only holding on to the old image as a way to hold on to memories. One day she met a monk who advised her, "Do you truly love that person? Or are you just clinging to the feeling you once had?" After much contemplation, she realized that she was just clinging to memories. She slowly let go, and then she found true love for herself. Love should not be just a desire. If we love without accepting the other person's changes, that love will never last long. Buddhism teaches that the most noble love is when we love unconditionally, wishing for the happiness of the person we love, even if that does not necessarily include ourselves. The hardest thing in love is to let go of expectations. When we love without expectations, everything becomes easier. Love is not to possess, but to understand and appreciate the presence of the other person. Every suffering is a valuable lesson. Suffering and loss are inevitable in life, but we can choose how to face it. Suffering can be a crushing blow, but it can also be a teacher that teaches us valuable lessons about patience, compassion, and how to face ourselves. I once knew a man who lost everything: his family, his job, his friends. He lived in loneliness and resentment towards life. But then he met a monk who helped him understand that suffering is just a state of mind. When we change our perspective, suffering will transform into empathy and understanding. He started doing charity work, helping people in more difficult situations than himself. Thanks to that, he found new meaning in life. Suffering can be the source of good things. When we overcome pain, we become stronger and can help others who are suffering. Look at pain as an opportunity to grow. Peace of mind is the root of all happiness. We often worry about the past or the future, forgetting that the present is the most precious thing. Living each moment to the fullest will help us find happiness and peace. A monk once said that on a journey through the mountains, he saw the tall trees shining brightly, the sunlight shining through the leaves, the wind blowing gently. He stopped, breathed, and felt that moment. His companion asked him why he stopped. He just smiled and said, "I don't want to miss the beauty of the present." We too need to learn to live fully in the present, because each moment is a precious gift. Our minds are often pulled back to the past or caught up in worries about the future. But the present is the only reality we are living in. Only when we focus on the present can we feel happiness and the meaning of life. Learn to love yourself in the present moment. This not only helps us escape from worries, but also helps us appreciate what we have. Letting go does not mean giving up, but accepting. Accept that everything is impermanent, that happiness lies not in possession, but in understanding and compassion. When we learn to let go, we will find true peace. A woman lost the person she loved most in her life. She spent many years living in regret and suffering until she learned to let go. She began to spend time doing things that her loved one wanted her to be happy. Finally, she realized that true happiness is when we know how to appreciate and let go of suffering, to live well in the present. Happiness is not the permanence of fate, but the understanding and acceptance of impermanence. Live life to the fullest, love with all your heart, but also be ready to let go when necessary. That is the path to true peace and happiness, compassion and forgiveness in love. True love is not only for loved ones, but needs to be extended to everyone, to all living beings. The Buddha taught that compassion is the way to end suffering and bring peace to oneself. There is a famous story in Buddhist scriptures about a woman who lost her only child. Overwhelmed with grief, she went to the Buddha and asked him to save the child. The Buddha told her to find a home where no one had ever lost a loved one. After a long time, she returned and realized that suffering is something that everyone experiences. From there, she let go of her attachments and learned to love all those who are suffering like her. Compassion does not mean that we have to endure hurt or injustice forever. It is tolerance and understanding, helping us escape the cycle of hatred and suffering. When we love with compassion, we no longer expect anything in return or fear losing. That love becomes purer and deeper. Start by loving yourself. When we can forgive ourselves for our mistakes and accept our shortcomings, we can easily forgive and love others. Compassion is the path that helps us escape from suffering in love and life. Letting go is not giving up, but accepting. We often think that letting go means failure or giving up something important. But in fact, letting go is the way for us to free ourselves from unnecessary constraints, thereby finding peace and freedom. A young man spent many years pursuing his career and achieving success. But when he achieved everything, he realized that he felt empty and tired. He decided to quit his job and move to a peaceful countryside. People thought he was a failure, but he found true peace, which money and status cannot bring. Letting go is not losing everything. It is how we choose what is truly important and eliminate the things that hurt. Letting go can mean letting go of an unhealthy relationship, letting go of too much expectation, or even letting go of past pain. Try letting go of negative thoughts, unnecessary sadness, and things that hurt your soul. When your soul is light, you will feel the value of life, love, and happiness. Self-love is the foundation of all happiness. We often love others easily, but are harsh on ourselves. Many people even sacrifice their own happiness just to please others, leading to a feeling of emptiness and loss. A young girl sacrificed everything for her lover, gave up her dreams, traded her job and other relationships. But in the end, she was abandoned and felt like she had nothing left. A friend advised her, "Love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, no one can do it for you." She decided to stand up, pursue her passion, and find appreciation in herself. Loving yourself is not selfish, but knowing how to appreciate your own value. When we love ourselves, we can love others sincerely and without dependence. Start with small actions like taking care of your health, spending time for yourself, and stopping comparing yourself to others. When we love ourselves, the world around us will reflect that. Live each moment to the fullest. We cannot change the past, nor can we predict the future. Only the present is what we are living. If we keep regretting the past or worrying about the future, we will miss the precious moments in the present. A Zen master once asked his students, "If you only had one day left to live, what would you do?" Everyone gave different answers, but the Zen master just smiled and said, "Live each day as if it were your last." This does not mean living in a hurry, but living with full presence and gratitude. The present is a gift that life gives. When we learn to appreciate the present, we will see that happiness is not far away. It is the moments with family, the delicious meals, the simple laughter. Take time to breathe deeply, feel the air around you, and listen to your heartbeat. Slow down, love more, and appreciate what you have, and you will find true peace. Everything will pass, only love and compassion will last forever. When we understand that everything is temporary, we will no longer cling to small things. Letting go is not giving up hope, but accepting the truth and living in the most sincere way. An old father spent his whole life worrying about his children. But at the end of his life, he realized that the most important thing was peace of mind. He let go of his worries, enjoyed the remaining days with his family, and lived each moment to the fullest. Life is a never-ending journey. We can choose how to face it, live fully, love, and let go of what is unnecessary. When we do that, we will find true peace and happiness. Impermanence is an undeniable truth. We live in a world that is constantly changing, and everything around us follows the law of impermanence. However, people tend to seek permanence in temporary things. From relationships to success, we always want them to last forever, forgetting that change is the nature of all things. A successful businessman once had everything: family, career, property. But one day, he lost everything due to unexpected changes. From the peak of success, he fell into the abyss of failure. Instead of sinking into despair, he accepted impermanence and started over with a different mindset. He realized that the only thing that never changes is change. Buddhism teaches that everything that is born will die. Accepting impermanence means accepting that happiness or suffering is temporary. When we understand this, sadness, disappointment, or even success will no longer shake us so strongly. Instead of trying to hold on to things that cannot be held, learn to adapt and accept. When we understand that nothing lasts forever, we will live more fully in each moment and appreciate what we have. Expectations are the root of all disappointments. We often have expectations of others and ourselves. We expect others to make us happy, to always be successful, to have everything go our way. But life is not like a dream, and the greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. A mother expects her child to achieve outstanding results to prove himself. But when the child does not achieve as expected, she is disappointed, blames, and puts pressure on him. The child grows up hurt, and the mother eventually realizes that it is her expectations that have created pain for both of them. When she lets go of her expectations, she begins to understand her child better, and the relationship becomes closer. Expectations are the main cause of our suffering. When we expect people to behave the way we want, we inadvertently impose burdens on them and on ourselves. Buddhism teaches that when we let go of expectations, we will touch the freedom and peace of mind. Try to live without expecting too much from others or yourself. Instead, let things happen naturally and accept the results as they are. This does not mean giving up trying, but doing everything with a light heart and without attachment. Suffering is inevitable, but how we face it is important. Everyone experiences their own suffering in life. It can be loss, failure, or emotional wounds. But it is how we face and handle suffering that determines whether we can find happiness or not. A woman was betrayed in love. She used to think that love was forever, but reality made her collapse. She turned to meditation, learned to look back at herself, and face her emotions instead of running away. After months of practice, she realized that happiness does not depend on others, but lies in her own mind. Suffering is an inseparable part of life. Buddhism does not teach us to avoid suffering, but to understand and accept it. When we no longer resist reality, suffering will gradually lose its power to hurt us. See every pain as a lesson. No matter how painful it is part of the journey of maturity. When you accept and learn from your suffering, you will become stronger, more compassionate, and ready to face any difficulties in the future. Love without attachment is the freest love. Many people love because they want to possess, want to control. But true love is when we love without expectations, without attachment. That is the love that makes both people free and happy. A couple lives together for many years, but always respects each other's personal space. They do not control each other, do not impose unrealistic expectations on each other. Both grow up together, love without being bound. When one of them passes away, the other does not suffer in despair, but is grateful for the years they have spent together. Love should not be a burden. When we love someone freely, we will no longer be afraid of losing or being hurt. That love becomes more beautiful, not dependent on any conditions. True love does not mean holding on. When you love someone, let them be free and let yourself be free. That love will be stronger because it is not bound by control or expectation. Peace is when we accept everything that comes and goes. Life is a series of constant changes. Each person will experience joys, sorrows, ups and downs that are different from each other. But what matters most is how we live through them, whether we let go of what is unnecessary and live fully in each moment. An old Zen master taught that when you hold a stone in your hand, if you hold it tightly, your hand will hurt. But if you let go and let it go, you will feel light. Life is like that stone. When we let go of the burdens in our hearts, we will feel lightness and true peace. Live as if each day is a new opportunity. Let go of the pain, cherish each present moment, and accept everything that happens with compassion. That is the path to true peace and happiness.